Couples, how did you know it was time to go to the next level? My best friend was convinced for most of our lives that I would never get to have a boyfriend. So when I met my boyfriend of 3 years, she was convinced that something was wrong with him, despite him being my perfect match in every way. He knew all of my go-to orders, he knew when I needed my social battery to recharge, and he was great with my parents. The only issue we've ever had was that he's never made me finish, despite our rampant chemistry. I was his first girlfriend, and any exposure he's had to intimacy never even showed that girls could finish too. When I mentioned this to my best friend, it was like she hit a jackpot. From that day on, she would make passive-aggressive comments about my boyfriend every time he showed me any affection. If he kissed me, she'd say that the only reason why he wanted to kiss me was because he didn't have any experience with actually pretty girls. If I told her that he got me a beautiful gift, she'd say he failed to give me the beautiful gift of actually finishing. Although I loved him with all my heart, her comments started to get to me. She'd go on long rants about how if I ended up marrying him, I'd be stuck being unsatisfied and unhappy for the rest of my life. So, I decided to make a compromise. I told my boyfriend that we wouldn't go to the next stage of our relationship until he made me finish. I wanted to feel satisfied in my relationship, and I didn't want to settle for unhappiness. We tried different positions that would help, tried incorporating a toy, and even copied some tutorial videos from the hub. I could tell he was trying his best, but the fact is he just wasn't any good, and I wasn't aroused, so I had him stop. I tried to look for solutions again. I've looked up different articles, and they all recommended that I use oil. I went to our local Spencer's and picked up some random little purple oil, not knowing you can't just buy any oil. I surprised my boyfriend with it, and he was excited to try again and was committed to helping me teach him. We set the mood in my room, lit some candles, turned down the lights, and got to make out. As soon as he started massaging the oil on me, I felt a burning sensation and threw him off me. I ran to the shower and washed and rinsed my insides alone, crying. I joined my boyfriend back in bed, both of us feeling defeated. He argued that I was faking the burn and it couldn't have been that bad. This was almost my final straw. I packed my bags and left to sleep at my best friend's house for a couple of nights. When I was there, I noticed something weird in my best friend. Whenever I would talk about my boyfriend, it looked like she was happy that we were fighting. She started texting on her phone more often and randomly telling me I was too good for him. On my second night there, my boyfriend texted me screenshots of my best friend DMing him naked pictures of herself and saying you want someone who can finish on command. I confronted her immediately and demanded to know why she would text him knowing that we were going through a rough spot. She told me that she knew my robotic self wouldn't be able to please him or any guy, so she wanted to help him out. I instantly connected the dots right then and there and went back to my boyfriend. When I returned to him, my boyfriend finally must have taken the hint and took some initiative because he brought me a surprise. He told me that when I was gone he was doing his own research and had ordered a quickie kit to use. In the kit came an intimacy melt to make my BJJ wetter, an arousal oil to massage on me, and a CBD-infused lube so we could get to business. I told him I wasn't sure about trying oil again. He showed me the reviews online and showed that the kit was made for giving me the best experience I could have. He assured me that it would relax and stimulate me more. His theory is if we perfected our foreplay then our overall experience would be 110 times better. Although my best friend mainly drove the idea of finishing, that enticed me and I said screw it, let's just go for it. But this time something was different. He apparently did his own research cause without me saying anything else. He threw me back down on the bed. This time the lights were out and all I could do was relax under him. He got down to business and I felt him massage the arousal oil on me as his fingers worked their magic. There was a fresh, clean aura that only turned me on more. The arousal oil had relaxed me so much that all I could feel was my boyfriend's fingers, everything else was melting away. He slipped in an intimacy melt and he kept talking about what I got for him. He angeled his fingers in a way that made me feel like I was peeing. I couldn't hold it in anymore. At this point, I knew I was close to finishing so I told him to put it in me. He pulled out the CBD lube and I helped massage it on him slowly. When he put it in me he was going at the perfect rhythm and since I was so much more sensitive than usual, I just knew I was about to climax from him. But he kept going, and my legs started quivering even though it felt like only 5 minutes passed. When we both finished we both wanted to keep going but ultimately I told him to stop. I tried to stand up but my legs gave out, and I was shaking on the floor. In the blink of an eye, I felt a shock of cold water on my back. I woke up and opened my eyes to see my boyfriend holding me in our bathtub. He told me that I passed out when I tried to stand up. The only words I could form were, "You can give me the ring now." We both laughed and agreed to talk about that later when I was in better condition. I felt so loopy but then I remembered the quickie kit and felt a wave of excitement come over me again. I told him I wanted to go a second round with the quickie kit, but this time I'll do some more foreplay on him. I'll spare you guys the details but as you can imagine, this was the greatest thing we've ever bought. Thanks bestie. Wouldn't have thought I needed this without you. 100% would recommend.